terrified. The house on Egypt Street became frantic with activities as the Tulane families prepared for their voyage to England. Edward possessed a small trunk, and Evelyn packed it for him, filling it with his finest suits and several of his best hats and 3 pairs of shoes. Also, that might cut a fine figure in London. Before she placed the outfit in the trunk, she displayed it to him. "Do you like this shirt with this suit?" she asked him. "Or would you like to wear your black bowler's hat? You look very handsome in it. Shall we pack it?" And then finally, on a bright Saturday morning in May, Adwaed and Evelyn and Mrs. Tulane were all on board the ship. Standing on the railing, Pellegrino was at the dock. On her head, she wore a floppy hat strawn around his flower. She stared straight at Adwaed. Her eyes glowed. "Bye, Evelyn," shouted to her grandmother. "I love you." The ship pulled away from the dock. Pellegrino waved to Evelyn. "Goodbye, lady," she called. "Goodbye." Edward felt something dampen his tears. Evelyn's tears, he supposed. He wished that she would not hold him so tight. To be clutched so fiercely often results in wrinkled clothing. Finally, all the people on land, including Pellegrino, disappeared. Edward, for once, was relieved to see the last of her. It was to expect. Edward Tulane accept much attention on board the ship. "What a singular rabbit," said an elderly lady with the strings of pearls wrapped around her neck. She bent down to look more closely at Edward. "Thank you," said Evelyn. Several little girls on board gave Edward deep glance full of longing. They asked Evelyn if they might hold him. "No," said Evelyn. "I'm afraid that he's not the kind of rabbit to like to be held by strangers." 2 young boys, brother named Martin and Amos, took a particular interest in Adwaed. "What does he do?" Martin asked Evelyn on their second day at sea. He points at Adwaed, who was sitting on the deck chair with his long neck stretched in front of him. "He doesn't do anything," said Evelyn. "Does he wind up somewhere?" asked Amos. "No," said Evelyn. "He does not wind up." "What's the point of him then?" said Martin. "The point is that he was Adwaed," said Evelyn. "That's not much of a point," said Amos. "It's not agreed, Martin." And then, after a long thoughtful pause, he said, "I would let anybody dress me like that." "Me neither," said Amos. "Do these clothes come off?" asked Martin. "Of course they do," said Evelyn. "He has many different outfits, and he has his own pajamas too. They are made of silk." Edward, as usual, was disheartening the conversation. A breeze was blowing on off the sea, and a silk scarf wrapped around his neck billowed out behind him. On his head, he wore a straw border. The rabbit was thinking that he must like quite dashing. It came as a total surprise to him when he was grabbed off the deck chair, and first his scarf and then his jacket and trousers were ripped from his body. Edward saw his pocket watch hit the deck of ship and roll merrily towards Evelyn's feet. "Look at him," said Martin. "He even got underwears." He held Edward aloft so that Amos could see. "Take it off!" shouted Amos. "No!" screamed Evelyn. Martin removed Edward's underwear. Edward was paying attention now. He was mortified. He was completely naked, except for the hat on his head. And the other passengers were looking to him, directing curious and embarrassed glances in his way. "Give him to me!" screamed Evelyn. "He's mine!" "No," those Amos to Martin. "Give him to me!" He clapped his hands together and then held them open. "Throw him," she said. "Please," cried Evelyn. "Don't! He's made of china. He'll break." Martin threw Adwaed, and Adwaed sailed naked from the air. Only a moment ago, the rabbits had thought that being naked in front of the shipload was of strangers was the worst thing that could happen to him. But he was drawn. It was much worse being tossed in the same naked state from the hands of one grubby laughing voice to another. Amos caught Adwaed and held him up, displaying his triumphantly. "Throw him back!" called Martin. Amos raised his arms, but just as he was getting ready to throw Adwaed, Evelyn tackled him, shoving her head into his stomach and upsetting the boy's aim. So it was Adwaed did not go flying back into the dirty hands of Martin. Instead, Adwaed Tulane went overboard.